Where the Lilies Bloom, 1969, is a middle-grade historical fiction novel written by the husband and wife team Vera and Bill Cleaver. Throughout their careers, the Cleavers collaborated on numerous works for middle-grade and young adult audiences, driven by their belief that writing for young readers was a deeply meaningful pursuit. Known for their realistic settings and explorations of human nature, they created stories grounded in emotional depth and authenticity. Where the Lilies Bloom stands as their most well-known and enduring work. Set in the Appalachian region of North Carolina, the novel is a coming-of-age story that centers on the struggles and resilience of the Luther family as they fight to remain together, maintain their dignity, and survive off the land they hold dear. The story addresses themes of poverty, loss, and orphanhood with compassion and realism. Told from the first-person perspective of 14-year-old Mary Call Luther, the novel follows her journey as she takes on the responsibility of caring for her siblings, Devola, Romy, and Emma Dean, after their father, Roy Luther, falls gravely ill. The Luthers are a poor sharecropping family living on land owned by Kaiser Pease, a local bachelor who expresses interest in marrying the eldest sister, 18-year-old Devola. When Kaiser becomes seriously ill, Mary Call seizes the opportunity to secure ownership of their home and a small plot of land. She is determined not to succumb to their hardships, but to rise above them through intelligence, moral conviction, and perseverance. Before dying, Roy Luther makes Mary Call swear to keep the family together, protect their pride, and prevent Devola from marrying Kaiser. He also insists that she conceal his death to avoid the risk of the children being taken by the county authorities. After his passing, Mary Call is faced with the burden of keeping his death a secret, while ensuring the family has enough food and resources to endure the winter. Relying on her late mother's wildcrafting guide, Mary Call leads her siblings in harvesting medicinal herbs to sell at the local general store. Encouraged by the kind-hearted store owner, Mr. Connell, but hindered by his nosy and judgmental wife, Mary Call persists in her efforts. She studies the herb book diligently and finds inspiration in her school teacher, Mrs. Breathitt, who represents the education and knowledge Mary Call desperately values. To her, learning is a pathway out of ignorance and a defense against the stereotypes often imposed on poor mountain families. Despite her inner doubts and the overwhelming challenges she faces, Mary Call remains determined to protect her family and uphold the legacy of the Luther name. Mary Call finds some comfort in her conversations with her 10-year-old brother Romy and in the silent prayers she offers to God in her mind. At first, luck seems to favor the Luther family. Kaiser Pease courts Devola, bringing gifts like a car, a radio, and livestock, which briefly ease their hardships. But when Kaiser is seriously injured after being hit by a truck, the family gains a temporary reprieve from his persistent visits, demanding to see Roy Luther and requesting Devola's hand in marriage. With this pause, Mary Call and Romy manage to attend school, while Devola takes on the role of caretaker, cooking, keeping the house, and looking after their youngest sister, Emma Dean. However, as winter approaches, troubles multiply. The roof leaks, food supplies dwindle, and the siblings are pushed beyond their limits. Mary Call's patience wears thin, and she grows increasingly harsh toward her family's weaknesses. Romy, in particular, resents her coldness, yet Mary Call feels utterly alone, without guidance, support, or even a reassuring presence from God. When Goldie Pease, Kaiser's sister, arrives to claim ownership of the land and demands that the Luthers leave within 2 weeks, Mary Call's anxiety reaches a breaking point. Faced with eviction, she considers desperate options, marrying Kaiser or moving the family into a cave to survive the winter. As the harsh weather mirrors her inner turmoil, she musters the courage to visit the hospital to ask for Kaiser's hand in marriage. After his refusal, she weeps but resigns herself to the cave plan. A visit to her father's grave brings little solace. She feels disconnected from him and struggles to recall what he was like in life. At home, she finds Kaiser returned from the hospital. The overwhelming stress takes a toll on Mary Call's health. Kaiser then reveals he has settled his debts with his sister and plans to marry Devola. He also admits he knows Roy Luther has died and that he has assumed guardianship of the Luther children. Mary Call comes to understand that she has been too rigid in her judgment, just as her father was, and realizes that Roy's promises were tied to a different reality. Choosing the well-being and happiness of her living family over loyalty to her deceased father's wishes, she accepts the new situation. Kaiser and Devola marry, and Mary Call takes responsibility for maintaining the family home. The siblings continue their wildcrafting, and as winter finally recedes, spring brings renewal. Flowers bloom, animals thrive, and Mary Call feels a deep connection to the land, her family, and her own strength. The future at last looks hopeful, steady, and fulfilling. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe.